Welcome to the first in a new series of podcasts called Outdoor Lighting. Outdoor Lighting is brought to you in association with Urbis Schrader, a company that has been providing high quality exterior lighting products such as street lighting and illumination since 1977. In our first podcast, we were delighted to be joined by Nigel Townsend, the Engineering Director of Urbis Schrader, to discuss what makes a successful lighting project. Nigel, thanks for joining Outdoor Lighting today. Obviously in your job you're constantly exposed to companies that wish to create large-scale road lighting projects. For you, what are the most important factors in a good brief for a lighting project?
Well, Chris, firstly I would have to say start any project as early as you can. Any project will live or die through its financial viability. So I would say early engagement with the procurement people is vital. As lighting people, we always want to think about the lighting first, but frankly that has to come after the business case has been proven viable. Secondly, I would say think about the real needs and what the benefits are. For example, procurement, they might want low price and long warranty, but it's quite likely that low whole life cost and low maintenance will give a greater benefit in the long run. It depends over what period of time you'd like to make your calculation. Thirdly, I would have to say don't rely on having an overly detailed specification for success. It's very easy to get carried away with too much detail, specifying this aspect of a luminaire or that aspect of the lighting criteria, and then end up with something you actually didn't want, mainly through the laws of unintended consequences.
I was curious that you were talking about whole life cost of a project there. What should people look out for? What does that mean in realistic terms? Obviously there's capital expenditure and running costs. Is that something that you can elaborate on?
Well, no, I think you've summed it up quite well there, Chris. Low whole life cost means capital cost offset against energy consumption, and then any ongoing maintenance or running issues. I frequently see people using unrealistically low energy costs. The number of 10 pence per kilowatt hour is a number that's frequently used, but when you drill down, you often find that 15 pence per kilowatt hour is much closer to the norm. And obviously that will make a huge impact on any whole life costs that you carry out. And in terms of maintenance, well, there are no specific maintenance issues with any of the Urbis Schrader products other than the routine cleaning which anyone would do. We like to think of our products as being fit and forget, but actually there's no product that's truly fit and forget. What we would say is fit them, forget them, but don't ignore them. For one thing, you'll always have to deal with knockdown replacements, and that's a reason on its own.
And finally, if you had to list the three most important considerations for achieving a successful lighting project, in your opinion, what would those be?
Well, three. Quite difficult to come back to 3 points, but I would start with saying, well, choosing the product is pretty easy. People spend a lot of time up front thinking about exactly the product or the detailed specification or whatever, but so often the success or failure can come down to more mundane things like delivery, capacity and quality. So even though you may be pleased with your specification and you may be pleased with your choice, if it's not deliverable, then your project will fail. So really, have real discussions with people, with others who have specified the products, who have experienced deliveries on similar sized projects. Speak to them. If you've asked for references, actually really follow up on them and speak to the people that have really done it before. That will tell you a lot about whether something is deliverable or not. Secondly, consider what you really need. Do you really need a particular feature? Are you really looking for a certain aspect of maintenance? And lastly, and also most importantly, it's down to the energy cost. Your project will be most viable the lower the energy consumption. And that really translates directly to photometry. A product which has a good wide range of photometric solutions will always give you a better toolkit. And don't shoot yourself in the foot by making specifications that take things into account like old-fashioned glare classes, which just put up energy consumption and limit your ability to light effectively. It's far more about the quality of the product than what boxes it might tick on a specification.
That's great, Nigel. Thanks very much for your thoughts there today. It's certainly interesting to see what the key criteria are for making a successful lighting project, and hopefully that means better briefs as well, which makes it easier for Urbis Schrader to answer in the future. Thanks everybody for joining Outdoor Lighting today for this, the first in a new series of podcasts on creating and executing great external lighting projects.